Hi, welcome to Crime Clueless. We're your hosts. I'm Jenna.
I'm Lara.
And I'm Kayla.
We're missing Krista. Hopefully this is the last one.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah.
Still out there having all the fun without us.
Yep.
But we're having all the fun here without her, so.
I know. She should be jealous because we're jealous.
She's at a beautiful lake. I'm jealous.
But you're in the crime pod.
Yeah.
The crime lab, whatever.
Pod lab.
Pod lab.
I do love you guys, but I'm pretty sure the temperature is nicer up there because it's as hot as the sun right now.
Yeah.
And I'm very miserable.
Yeah, July is the worst in Phoenix.
Only 96 right now at 7:40 at night.
And the sun is completely down.
No, it's not.
Okay, it's getting there.
I mean, yeah, it could be 110 right now. So, all right, should we jump right into this one? I know that
we got to find out what happened.
Yes, we're ready for part 2.
Yes,
part
I definitely want to know what's going on there.
So when we left you last time, we had told you about the night. We told you about the autopsy, toxicology. We had started to mention some of the history for the county, and that's where we're going to jump right back to. So Forsyth County's history loomed in the background of Tamla's case, whether officials acknowledged it or not. As mentioned, this Georgia community had infamously driven out virtually all of its Black residents in 1912 after a white woman was found assaulted and murdered. Events that led to lynchings of Black suspects and a campaign of terror against Black families in the area. For most of the 20th century, this county was known as a sundown county where Black people were unwelcome and unsafe. Even in the 1980s, attempts to integrate were met with angry and well-documented racist counter-protests.
It's so sad.
It's sad. The history of sundown towns is really
awful.
Sad. We need to cover that. By the time Tamla moved there with her family, the county had certainly changed on the surface. The population had grown and diversified somewhat, but many say the old attitudes never entirely vanished. Tamla herself never voiced any fear or mistrust of her friends or neighbors. In fact, by all accounts, she felt comfortable and was enjoying the party that night. But after her death, the racial context seemed impossible to ignore. Some observers pointed out that if the only Black person at the party, full of white people, turned up dead under odd circumstances, perhaps implicit bias could influence how the investigation was handled. Forsyth County is relatively wealthy and had a reputation for quote-unquote country club politics. It didn't help optics that one of the party attendees was the girlfriend of a county court official, the one who owned the house. So Jose, her boyfriend, was an official in the county, and another guest husband was also in law enforcement. It was easy for outsiders to speculate about a, quote, good old boy network protecting its own, even if it was purely perception. As the case gained attention, people really dug into Forsyth's demographics, which were 85% white, and their turbulent racial past, using it as fuel to theory that Tamla's death wasn't taken as seriously as it should have been, possibly because of her race. The sheriff's office, for its part, denied this vehemently and said race had nothing to do with anything. But the optics were bad. A Black woman died suspiciously in a county with virtually no Black population, and the case is quickly declared an accident, despite vocal skepticism from her family and friends. The stage was set for a public relations powder keg, and it would soon explode, largely thanks to social media. For the first couple of months after her death, the case flew under the radar. It was treated as a local tragedy, but not a crime, so it didn't make headlines initially. That changed in December 2018 when a startling side story emerged. Jose, who was Janine's boyfriend, which is where the party was, and, he was at the party. He's the one that did some of the speaking on the 911 call, was fired from his job at the county court. The reason? Jose had improperly accessed the incident report on Tamla's case from his work computer while the investigation was still ongoing.
Oh, that's fishy.
Essentially, he peeked into law enforcement's records that he was not supposed to. It was not part of his job. He was part of the investigation.
That's not good.
Don't open them.
Yeah, no.
When the court discovered this, they fired him in December. And remember, this happened the beginning of November. The news got leaked to a local reporter, and suddenly the case was in the spotlight and not in a flattering way. The implication was that Jose, who was a witness, might have been snooping or even trying to interfere with the case by checking what evidence police had. The sheriff's office said that Jose accessed the reports multiple times and even shared confidential information, like one friend's personal details, with others.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
No,
Did he have access to delete stuff too?
that I'm not sure.
Hmm.
That probably, if it was possible to have that access, wasn't made public. But
Yeah, because did he just have access to view it, or did he have access to
edit
things?
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't think he could edit,
But I mean,
but you don't know.
yeah.
And it was over a month later, month and a half.
That he got fired.
They
but
found
said
it
he had
out.
accessed
They found
it
out that
multiple
he had
times.
done it.
Mm-hmm.
They found he had accessed it multiple times.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I
Interesting.
mean, the reports say he was fired in December. So I don't know if it was December 2nd or December 30th.
Right.
Well, and also, when did they find out and then start researching it? Because they probably took at least like a week or so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
to check into it.
That's true.
And how did they find out?
Yeah.
Which is something I couldn't find, but
Interesting. I bet that they have records of who gets into cases.
I'm sure.
Or sometimes, like our cases at work, if you edit something in them, it says you were the last one to edit, like modify that case. So maybe he did edit something and it showed his name that he was the last one to modify the case.
Yeah. Our
Right.
system doesn't show like times, but it'll show like the last 4 last names who were in the order.
Mm. So something along one of those two lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it was multiple times, that's interesting.
Maybe someone noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
If he had been in it multiple times, but no one had noticed because a lot of people were getting into it at the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't show him,
didn't
but
flag.
then as it kind of slowed down and
Mhm.
someone saw his name, then they could look back and see, oh, all these other times he was in it as well.
Right. And there might have been people accessing it that didn't know who he was
Yeah, that's true.
because he wasn't part of that department.
Yeah.
And then maybe somebody who did recognize him
Mhm.
specifically as being a witness
Yeah.
noticed that and raised the alarm.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. Jose denied any malicious intent. His lawyers later claimed that curiosity got the better of him, but the damage was done. The public got this impropriety, which launched a cloud of suspicion, and Tamla's friends and family were not buying his reasoning. By early February 2019, as the case was wrapping up, local media and then national outlets began reporting on the mysterious death of Tamla. The internet took it and ran. Tamla's story started trending on forums, Facebook, Twitter, true crime blogs. Hashtags like hashtag Tamla Horsford and hashtag Justice for Tamla gained traction. This was especially true in Black online communities that were sharing stories of racial injustices. From the get-go, hundreds of people on social media openly questioned the official account and suspected foul play. And these aren't her friends and family who are so deeply connected. I mean, I know you can get deeply connected to other cases, but these are people just reading the facts and going,
Yeah.
Yes, it could seem like it was an accident, but there are inconsistencies that definitely raise questions. Like the 2 lighters that took
Yeah.
me.
It's like,
And her positioning.
Yeah,
yes,
that doesn't seem right either.
no. I can get past if she just fell over the railing. I don't know necessarily that it would wake up people if there wasn't a fight or argument. Even if there was a fight, I don't know.
They're all very drunk.
Exactly. And sound asleep in various rooms. But those things, like the door
Mm-hmm.
and the lighters,
Yeah.
her position, that's all.
Also, it was, 14 feet is significant, but not
Right?
super high.
Agreed.
Unless she did land on her head.
That seems odd too. Like, I
Doesn't-
guess unless you go,
I don't feel like your head
Head
would have I don't feel like I was thinking if she fell backwards, like if she tripped and fell backwards over the railing and went down,
Yeah.
like, so if she went over backwards and then fell like that, but then I don't feel like if she landed, I don't feel like her face would have been straight down.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what's weird to me.
And also, that seems like something more with multiple stories
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just 14 feet. Is there
Yeah.
time?
Hmm?
Is there time to flip like that?
Well, if she
I
went
guess
over
if she
this
had more
way,
momentum that pushed her faster.
if she fell like straight backwards over, like if
Yeah.
she did trip.
Well, I'd also be interested to know how close to the railing she was.
Right.
Mhm.
Was it just a fall? And this is the same thing we talked about with Ray Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
Where she landed, is it plausible for a fall, or was it further back, like the trajectory of the fall?
Right.
What
There
I
was
saw
more
said it was
momentum.
like underneath
Mhm.
the railing. It was
Yeah, like
straight
really
down.
close to the patio.
Yeah.
But,
But if she was like standing and then fell backwards, so she did tip over,
Mhm.
I could see her landing like on her head.
That's really the only way, because if she's leaning over,
Then she would be
she's
face
going to
up,
land on her
right?
back, right?
Or if she was facing forward and fell that way, it seems like she would either be on her back
Mhm.
or her
She had
I
to
don't
fall
know.
backwards to
Yeah.
land in that
falling
position.
backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the body facing the way it was.
That's why I asked that before.
Yeah, because that's hard to think of how it could have gone if she was just leaning over and then fell. Also, I don't know how you would lose your balance that way
No.
enough to fall over a railing.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
People online agree with all of that. In the posts, Tamla is often described as a Black woman who died in a house full of drunk white people under very suspicious circumstances. There were infographics that laid out perceived inconsistencies. The speculation did get wild at times. One viral Facebook post that circulated in 2019 flat out claimed that Tamla was murdered while she attended a sleepover with 7 white women, alleging she was beaten and thrown off a balcony. There was no evidence for these specific claims. Another widely shared post insisted that partygoers had political ties and lots of money and were covering up a murder. The flames were fanned by the fact that one party attendee was indeed the wife of a local law enforcement officer, and he wasn't at the party, but she was.
Yeah.
And of course, Jose's involvement as a court employee looked sketchy. The public, seeing smoke, assumed fire. Many became convinced that Tamla had been killed and that the authorities were complicit in a cover-up. Tamla's family, while grateful for the support, also had to watch as some misinformation spread. For instance, there was a rumor that went around that there was a huge delay, over an hour, between when Tamla's body was found and when 911 was called. In truth, the 911 call was placed within minutes of discovery. And I could see how that could spread if there's a rumor that they found her when some of the people left at 7:30
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't call.
Yeah.
But according to, I mean, I don't know. This is off the record. I just don't know how you know when she was discovered.
Yeah.
Besides, you're taking the people who could be at fault's word for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
How many people left at like 7:30?
So there were 10 people there in total. So you had 2 that left at 10:30. And then you had the one that left at 1:30.
1:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that left at like 4.
4. And then the couple left. So that leaves Jose and Janine. And then Tamla and one other.
I don't know.
Did we do that math right?
I don't know.
Huh. I don't know either. Police did confirm that there was no intentional delay in the time the call was placed and, when they found her.
When they said they found her.
Right.
It's so hard to know.
It is hard. And it's like,
And there's this whole house and people are leaving at different times. How do you confirm when someone first found her?
right.
Yeah.
Once the internet had a hold of some of the narratives, it was impossible to reel them back in. Emotions were high, and many in the public simply did not trust the county sheriff's conclusions. The people at the party felt the heat directly. Some of their names became public, and armchair sleuths began harassing them, which is why we specifically did not use any last names in this case. Janine, Jose, and a few others received death threats on social media. In response, the group of friends closed ranks. They got a legal team of their own. On February 21st, 2019, the day after the case was officially closed, attorneys for Janine, Jose, and several other partygoers issued a strongly worded statement. It said, "Our clients are completely innocent. This was not murder. This was not anything other than a tragic accident." They pleaded for the community to stop vilifying them and to accept the authorities' finding. "This tragic accident is exactly that, an accident," the statement read, calling some of Tamla's more vocal advocates, very vocal friends and family, who they said were spreading falsehoods by calling it murder. Essentially, the partygoers were saying, "We know everyone is looking for someone to blame, but we are not killers, and we're devastated too." This did little to stop the tide online. If anything, it made Tamla's supporters more suspicious. After all, of course, the accused would deny any wrongdoing. Among those who refused to stay quiet was Tamla's close friend, Michelle. Michelle had been one of Tamla's best friends and was not at the party that night, but in the aftermath, she became a vocal advocate for finding, quote, the truth. Michelle simply did not buy the accident story. She gave interviews, including to local news, saying, "They're totally lying. This was not an accident." On Facebook, Michelle didn't hold back, implying that the people at the party knew what really happened. She even suggested that some kind of fight or foul play had occurred. In total, she had 13 separate posts accusing the individuals of either murdering Tamla or covering it up. These posts went so far that in October of 2019, 7 of the party attendees, including Janine and Jose, filed a defamation lawsuit against Michelle. They claimed Michelle's accusations were false and caused irreparable damage to their reputations, and said that it essentially ostracized them as murderous villains in the community. The lawsuit cited her explicit statements on social media where she named them and said they were responsible for Tamla's death. Michelle was unbothered. She publicly responded, "I state nothing but factual information. I stand strong behind my statement that these people know what happened." She saw the lawsuit as a blatant intimidation tactic to silence her. The tension was palpable. On one side, a grieving family and friends convinced there was a miscarriage of justice. On the other side, a group of individuals adamant that their only crime was throwing a party that ended in tragedy. For what it's worth, that defamation lawsuit did not go far in the end. The partygoers eventually withdrew the suit, dismissing it without prejudice in 2020. It's unclear if a settlement or agreement was reached, but as of now, Michelle has not retracted her claims. She continues to advocate for Tamla's case. Amid all this, the county sheriff's office felt the pressure mounting. Although they had closed the case, they began releasing documents and surveillance footage to try to put out this wild speculation. In February 2019, they made the entire case file, hundreds of pages of reports, and dozens of photos available via public records requests. They hoped transparency might show that they had nothing to hide. However, some of those very documents fueled more outrage. For example, people learned that during Jose's police interview, a detective had straight up asked him if he threw Tamla off the deck. Jose answered, "No, I did not," and said he didn't think anyone else did either. To skeptics, the fact that police even asked that question hinted they themselves had doubts initially. Additionally,
Interesting.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Did anyone else get asked that? Did it say?
not that I found, but
They might not have.
it might be because he was like the only, well, no, because the couple stayed the night too. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. Additionally, Sheriff Freeman, who wasn't at the scene but oversaw the case, had to answer for the Jose firing incident. He insisted that his tampering hadn't affected the integrity of the case and that they had indeed done a thorough and comprehensive job. The sheriff also conceded publicly that there were some inconsistencies in witness statements that caught their attention. He maintained those inconsistencies were resolved or not indicative of foul play, but the acknowledgement gave fuel to the fire. By spring of 2019, Tamla's case had all the ingredients to be fueling online speculation. Family and friends are unhappy. It's got this unsolved filling mystery. We've got allegations of racism, possible police missteps, racial bias, a family crying for justice. It just needed the right moment to capture national attention. That moment would come a year later in mid-2020 in the wake of a different tragedy that rocked the country. Even as social media sleuths theorized, Tamla's family pursued a more concrete route. They wanted scientific answers. They commissioned an independent autopsy of Tamla's body. This autopsy was paid for by the family and conducted by a medical examiner of their choosing after her body was released from the state. The results, which the family released to the media in the summer of 2020, reportedly highlighted some inconsistencies and concerning findings that they felt the original investigation downplayed. While the full independent autopsy report hasn't been publicly published line for line, family attorney Ralph Fernandez summarized key points in a now famous letter. According to Fernandez, the second autopsy found additional abrasions and injuries on Tamla's body that they say could indicate a struggle. For example, there were linear abrasions or scratches on Tamla's wrists and hands that the family interpret as possible defensive wounds, either from trying to fend someone off or fighting, hitting something. There was also a deep laceration on Tamla's heart, which we mentioned, the torn ventricle. Fernandez found this suspicious, implying significant force or some kind of stabbing without stabbing, if that makes sense, trauma.
Almost like if they had punched her really hard.
Right there.
I was wondering too, because I was thinking if she fell on her chest, if that could have done it.
Right, because you
But
did
then
find
she had I don't know.
that it could be consistent with a fall. So I
don't know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if she hit like that, I wonder if it could snap her head back and then hit, if she hit the ground, it snapped her head back. That could possibly break her neck.
Right.
And
hurt her heart.
Hurt her heart. And the force of hitting the ground like that, I mean, could cause a brain bleed too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So those things make
There's so hard.
Yeah.
Should have had to have fallen at an exact angle.
Flat down.
Yes.
Right. And that's, like you said, hard unless you're going over backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, do they have a dog or a cat?
Trip
ran
over
behind her.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe.
Or if she was...
Or like a pot right there that she went over to then fall backwards.
Or if she I don't know.
But why are you walking backwards that close?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You went to get something and were turned around to walk back inside and got off balance and fell. But
most often, unless my dog is behind me and I fall backwards, most of the time, unless you're walking backwards, if you're walking forward, your momentum is forward and you would fall forward.
And you would think you would land on your back that way.
Yeah.
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 Not on your head.
Well, and I wonder too, if she did fall on her head, if that would cause enough. I don't know how that would cause the trauma, the blunt force trauma to her chest.
And you've also got
you would have had to fall.
Break.
Yeah, I feel like you would have had to fall flat on your chest.
Right. To do that.
Face down,
damage.
Hit just your whole body flat.
Well, because she had to have landed on her wrist too, because they said
she had her arms out.
It was broken and part of the bone was sticking out on her arm. So she had to have.
But they were down by her side. So how do you catch yourself?
If your arms were out, they would be
right
up.
That's the thing. They're both down by her side.
This way, if she's falling, there's a momentum that she's going forward a little bit. So it pushes her arms back. But I don't know. That still seems weird.
Yeah, that could be. It's just putting all of those injuries together for the hit.
Off.
Right.
I don't know.
I know.
And you said that there were bumps on her head. Were it the back of her head or was it on the front of her head?
There was one on her temple.
It seems like you would have more trauma to your face if you landed on your face.
Right.
Broken nose.
Yeah.
At least. Broken cheekbones, broken teeth.
Yeah.
And none of those are mentioned.
At least a broken nose, right?
If you land flat on your face, your nose is in your face.
Yeah.
But how else?
Your face in the ground.
Yeah. How else do you land like that? Unless she fell and turned and then died after. If she had the brain bleed and her neck was broken, she couldn't get up. Maybe she had turned her head after she landed.
But down like into the ground?
I don't know. If she had fallen on her chest and then like couldn't get up.
She had tried to like
She like
lift her
tried
head.
to like move.
Oh,
and
like try to lift
couldn't.
it and then put it down?
Yeah. That could
That's-
be.
That could be.
Because it might not have killed her immediately.
Mm-hmm. Which is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and maybe she moved her arms.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe she landed like that and put them down.
Maybe. Seems like your arms would be up, like you're struggling to try and stand up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. That's
We're trying to come up with
I know, right?
somehow, and it's not working.
Even trying to lay out all the possibilities, it just doesn't seem right.
Mm-hmm. Right. They noted also the neck fracture that we mentioned, and both autopsies agree that it's consistent with a sudden forceful injury. But the secondary autopsy, the view with all of the injuries all over her body, he says they're more consistent with a physical struggle. Essentially, the family's expert didn't see the neat single impact fall. He saw multiple points of trauma that made him suspect either an altercation or something and then being thrown over. So you've still got some injuries from the fall, but then others.
And I think it would make a little bit more sense if to have her face down like that, if she was already passed before she went over the railing.
Yeah. And you could still get those other things. And that's where part of the two autopsies differed too.
Yeah.
Where some said maybe it happened after, and some said no, all at the point of impact.
I don't know.
Yeah. One huge frustrating detail emerged. No photographs were taken during her initial autopsy. In his letter to Tamla's husband, Attorney Fernandez stressed that was unheard of. It was a deviation from standard procedure, and that does not happen no matter the cause of death.
Yeah.
You need
There's always pictures. Yeah.
Right. They're routine and they're crucial for later analysis. The absence meant the family's independent pathologist had to rely only on written reports and could not visually confirm things like lividity, which is the blood pooling, bruising patterns, or subtle marks that might be visible on the body.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
I can't believe they didn't take any pictures.
Yeah.
Me either.
That's so weird. Unless they did and they were deleted from the file.
Also, yes.
And I feel like someone would have
Noticed.
noted that. But I mean, you have unauthorized access into the file.
And also, which I'm not saying there was some sort of attempt at covering up a botched investigation.
Yeah.
You're not going to put that out there.
No.
Yeah.
But you would think whoever did the autopsy the first time would say, hey, no, I did my job.
Yeah.
I took the photos.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But also, do you take photos on every other one and not this one? Why?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also fishy.
Yeah. The lawyer, Fernandez, insinuated the lack of photos might not be an accident. Like someone instructed the medical examiner not to take pictures, which is a serious claim. However, the GBI's medical examiner office never gave a public explanation for why there were no autopsy photos. This remains a point of contention and obviously a big red flag in this case.
Yeah.
Fernandez's letter was dated June 5th, 2020, and it was explosive. He wrote to Tamla's husband that after exhaustive review, his team believed there was a, quote, strong possibility that Tamla's death was homicide, not accident. He cited the conflicting witness statements, the possibility that a potential subject handled the body, as well as the evidence before police arrived. He also noted a troubling absence of autopsy photos. The truth never had a chance here, he wrote bluntly. In another line from the letter, he told the family, those who wear the badges and were entrusted with the investigatory task failed you. That was a direct accusation of a botched investigation. But he offered hope too. He said, this is not over. It will never be over. Be safe. Be strong. We will get to the bottom of this. The family made his letter public and it spread quickly online, further igniting calls to reopen the case. In the swell of Black Lives Matter demonstrations that summer, that was after what happened with George Floyd, people also began chanting names of other Black individuals who had died under suspicious circumstances or alleged injustice. Tamla's name became one of those rallying cries. At protests incoming, which was Tamla's town, marchers held signs with her face and the hashtag Justice for Tamla next to slogans against police brutality. Celebrities started to notice too. Rapper T.I. and 50 Cent both made posts to their massive social media followings about Tamla's case, demanding authorities take a deeper look. The hip-hop and entertainment news site Complex ran a story titled 50 Cent and T.I. Demand Investigation into Death of Tamla Horsford After Reviews Suggest Possible Homicide. People magazine and Rolling Stone also jumped on the story, publishing detailed feature articles that summer examining all of the unanswered questions about her death. A Change.org petition urges a new inquiry, which has amassed over 700,000 signatures, and that was just in a matter of weeks when it was first put up. The outcry was loud and growing louder by the day. Faced with the surge of public interest, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, which had stood by its original investigation firmly, relented. On June 12th, so literally 1 week later, 2020, Sheriff Ron Freeman wrote an official letter to the GBI requesting that Tamla's case be reopened and reinvestigated by an independent agency. He couched it diplomatically, saying that while he was confident in his department's work, he recognized the importance of transparency and the need to leave no stone unturned. In such a tragic case, his letter basically said, "We welcome the GBI to review everything and see if we missed something." The GBI agreed to take on the case within days. By mid-June 2020, an official second investigation into Tamla's death was underway. The GBI's reopened inquiry gave Tamla's family and supporters renewed sense of hope. At last, a fresh set of eyes, state-level investigators not from Forsyth County, would scrutinize the evidence. Perhaps new interviews would be conducted, new forensic tests run, or witnesses re-interviewed to clear up any lingering inconsistencies. For a time, Justice for Tamla advocates were optimistic that the truth might yet come out. The GBI's investigation, however, would take over a year to complete, and updates were scarce during that time. They essentially went through the entire case file, checking if anything had been overlooked. They also reportedly followed up on new information, including the findings from the independent autopsy and any tips that had come in since. In the interim, media coverage died down a bit, but Tamla's case remained a topic in, online circles and social platforms. One thing that did come out, the GBI obtained some additional documents and communications from the time of the initial investigation, and Rolling Stone magazine later reported that these new documents detailed some embarrassing missteps by local officials. Among them, it was alleged that an investigating officer had been caught posting offensive jokes about Tamla's case on Snapchat, and that another had personal ties to someone at the party, raising questions of conflict of interest.
That's horrible.
It is horrible. These revelations, reported in September of 21, painted a picture of an initially sloppy response, from insensitive comments to potential buddy-buddy relationships, which further eroded confidence that Tamla's case had gotten a fair shake early on. The sheriff's office bristled at those implications, but they were unable to control the narrative by that point. So finally, on July 28th of 21, the GBI announced the conclusion of its reinvestigation. The outcome was not what Tamla's family had hoped for. They announced that they found no evidence of foul play and decided not to pursue any criminal charges. So, in essence, the state investigation concurred with the original one. Her death was a horrible accident. The district attorney reviewed the work and also declined to bring any case to a grand jury. And the Forsyth County Sheriff, in turn, stated that they welcomed the GBI's findings and that it confirmed their own conclusion in 2019. The authorities, this second closure was the final word in the matter. As of this recording in 2025, her case officially remains closed with no criminal charges filed.
I was thinking too with the criminal investigation, if there had been a fight, do you think if someone hit her, they would have seen that unless they hit her with something, I guess?
Well, the
Could be.
on her temple. Was
Yeah.
that from the ground or was it from a wine bottle?
Right.
You know?
If she was knocked unconscious from that, maybe alcohol and some weed that hit and then tossed over, she could stop all the injuries from a fall.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real altercation, like maybe only one person.
Would that break a
Two
bottle
people?
to hit someone that hard with it to knock them unconscious?
It would depend on the bottle
I guess so.
and how hard you hit.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a thicker bottle, you could still hit pretty hard and it's not going to break.
Yeah.
Guess I'm used to seeing all the TV shows where they hit them, with the sugar bottles and they break immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I've had times where I've, dropped glass things and they don't break, but I mean, it's still a good impact,
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, that's not even dropping it.
Yeah.
Right. And it might not have even been a bottle.
Right.
Yeah.
What if it was something else?
It could have been something else.
That's true.
I was thinking like, if someone hit her, they would have been able to see that on somebody, but not if they hit her with something.
Yeah.
So never mind, maybe.
But it could have been, a number of things.
Yeah.
Like this, say my Awala, that would really hurt. It's not going to break.
Yeah, that's true.
A water bottle.
Not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
true.
say you moved her, which got scratches on her arms and hands.
Mm-hmm.
Or putting her up over the railing, maybe.
That if her hands were hanging down, that could have scratched them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the fall, which is the broken neck and the impact to her heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to think that her wrist would be broken so badly and just laying by her side like that.
Yeah.
Unless, say, it landed under her and they moved it.
That's what I'm saying. If that it seems like that would have been moved, but.
Yeah, definitely.
I keep coming back to the same things.
I know, because
that don't make sense.
There are a lot of things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I mean, what if that person was super intoxicated and didn't really remember what happened?
That could be too.
And not even saying that it was on purpose, but they're not going to talk about an accident. Yeah. Maybe she said something to them and back and forth. I mean,
yep.
We'll never know. Unless that person comes forward, it's going to remain an unanswered question because there were no cameras.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
And maybe they don't remember every detail either.
Yeah.
They were super intoxicated. They might not remember all.
Right.
Like that one girl they had to take to bed. Maybe she got back up later and was drinking again or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know.
No. Anyway.
Right. I mean, it's just.
I think there's more to the story.
It does feel like there's more to the story. And it's a bummer that the investigation was botched.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's more they could have collected at the beginning from the get-go.
Yeah.
Pictures of the autopsy.
The autopsy seems sus.
There's a lot that seems very fishy about this.
And like, why was he looking at the case? Like, why was Jose looking at the case?
Yeah.
Like, I understand curiosity, but also
he should know better.
If you're just looking because you're curious, wait till it comes out.
You're risking your job. Like, you can't do that.
Right. And you're not going to be able to get that same job if that's the reason you're fired.
Yeah.
So was it that important?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you have nothing to worry about, why, or nothing to worry about for someone else.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can just let the investigation unfold.
I mean, to play devil's advocate, say he's like genuinely wondering what happened that night. And if it was someone else there, maybe they're still friends with everyone. And he's like, somebody being investigated, somebody dangerous. I don't know. I'm trying to like rack my brain for maybe he's looking just to see if
maybe he's trying to
really
see
was an accident.
If anybody else said anything.
Right.
And maybe it's total speculation. Maybe he helped get her over and he's trying to see if anyone said anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, if there's two people involved, it's easier to keep the secret than, where they keep saying like there were 10 people there.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean, some went home at 10:30. The other one went home before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You've got other people that technically were asleep and then say they left at 4.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not that many people there by the time they woke up.
Yeah.
So, and we don't know when it happened.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I don't see is like an estimated time of death.
Yeah. That's interesting too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's suspicious as well.
Right. Because people were leaving at 4:00 and for a reason. So, not saying she had
Maybe-
anything to do with it. I'm just saying, people were up all night. No one
Yeah.
noticed. So you don't know if it happened at that time or
Maybe
at 6
she-
a.m. or at
Yeah.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
Maybe she was really hot when she went inside and left the door open, and then someone woke her up when they were leaving and they got into an argument.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
But
And
you
the
would
door's
think
already
her blood
open.
alcohol wouldn't be that high if it were that much later. Is the only
Maybe.
Right.
thing. So I don't know.
I don't know.
The
We don't
Xanax
know.
in her system is interesting too.
Yeah. Especially if,
She didn't have a prescription. They said she didn't take it. If Xanax
Mm.
was found in my system, I've never taken that. I don't have a prescription. I would hope
Mm.
you guys would say, hey, look into that more.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
See who at the party did have Xanax. Say, hey, did she take one?
Yeah.
Right.
Look into that more.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yeah.
avenues they could have pursued.
Agreed. Will the case ever be reopened? They say if new evidence emerges, if a witness comes forward, a forensic breakthrough. But again, I don't know what they kept.
Mhm.
It's like some of the other ones when it's deemed an accident or a suicide or natural.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think they're keeping evidence just
No.
in case.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
Yeah, for undetermined or homicide, but I don't know about for an accident.
Probably not.
No.
And they've had it declared that twice now.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet they're not keeping.
Yeah. Ugh, it's just heartbreaking that, no outcome brings
Yeah.
her back.
Yeah.
And whether it was accident or foul play, she's got 5 little boys. She's
Yeah.
got her daughter. They all lost their mother that night.
So sad.
Yeah. Her husband, her dad,
Yeah.
and they say they just want the truth, whatever that may be,
Mhm.
so that sense can be made of the senseless.
Yeah. It's hard when it could be just an accident, but
Mhm.
when there's so many things pointing that there's more going on,
Right.
it's hard to just kind of accept that.
Absolutely.
Um,
I agree. So you can find links to the Facebook page, thechange.org. We'll list all of those. If this case made you feel some kind of way, go support her family as they continue fighting for justice. Anything else, guys?
No.
That's so sad.
It's really sad.
Yep.
And it's sad, like you said, it's hard to accept that it's an accident, even if it feels like we could make it out to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to accept that when there's so many inconsistencies.
Yeah.
But even we couldn't even make it out
Mhm.
to be that way.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
We tried, but it just doesn't make sense.
No,
No.
it doesn't make sense. And it's terrible to know that there may never be answers.
Absolutely.
They may never get closure, which is terrible.
Well, and even if it was an accident and someone found her and moved her, at least say something so that they can. We did find her, but we were scared. We
Mhm.
had all been drinking together. We didn't know exactly what happened, so we didn't want to say anything. But we did move her, and that's why she's in this weird position or something.
Help make sense of that or help
Yes.
make sense of the inconsistencies in the statements or
Yeah.
Yeah.
any of those.
Even if it was an accident,
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
it could be.
Mhm.
But help it make sense if
Make it
someone
make
did
sense.
something
Make the math.
to
Yes.
make it look suspicious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you want to read the resources and dive even more into this case, you can find that on our blog, which is linked on our website, crimeclueless.com, under the contributors section. We'd love to have you join us on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, etc. On all of them, we are at Crime Clueless. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your theories, your feedback. Tell us what you think. Is there something that we're missing? Please, please tell us.
Help us make it make sense.
Yes.
Or figure out something else.
Yes,
Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
absolutely. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love if you would take a minute to rate, review, or share our podcast. Your support helps us reach more listeners and grow our community. You can find Crime Clueless on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, iHeart, and all major streaming platforms. And until next time, remember, refuse to be clueless, careless, or caught off guard.
Not today, murderers.
Bye.
Bye.